Thank you to Jenny from Graeae. Thank you.
I hope that everyone here does know who Graeae Theatre is, but I can't always assume. But before I do anything, where's you and Marshall? Where are you? This is a real opportunity. I don't think I've ever been able to do it before you, but to say thank you so much for making the decision to leave Graeae. So I have the best job in the world. So what?
I don't know how to take that.
But what Ewan did, he left me the most beautifully formed vision for me to just get my feet under and start acting on some of the ideas that Ewan set up. Now, for those of you who don't know Graeae, it was set up 35 years ago. Not by me, I'm not that old. But Nabil Shaban and Richard Tomlinson set it up. Nabil was at Herwood College doing drama. Richard was a tutor. Nabil comes out of drama, doing drama, like all actors, want to act. But the mainstream world was vilified. They looked at him and went, oh, this little man with mad hair, this brittle bones. No, there is no space on our stages for people like you. So what we did back in the 80s, you joined forces with someone who was like-minded, did that, and you went to the Arts Council. And in those days, you could walk to the Arts Council. I've got a fantastic idea for a project and to get some money. So, thank God, Nabil set up Graeae. Now, it's a company that absolutely prides itself on total, as much inclusive, accessible practice as possible, but it has the most stupid, impossible name to say. We have been introduced as Greasy Theatre Company, Geese Theatre Company, Graham. So I went to interview Nabil not so long ago for the Graeae book. And I said to Nabil, why? If you were lucky, you could be called Cyclops. They were just unpacking all the myths. And the Graeae story was their favourite, because the three Graeae sisters, whose names I can't pronounce actually, so I'm not even going to try, but the three Graeae sisters shared between them an eye and a tooth. And then Perseus came and stole them because he wanted to know how to kill the Medusa. So of course they tell him because they want their vital organs back. He doesn't give them back. He flings them into the wilderness, and at the end of the story is the Graeae sisters were left screaming and defenceless. That's not defenceless. And so what Graeae does do is they are screaming, and they agree, screaming, but with that sort of passion that we do believe we have a right to be on as many theatrical platforms as possible, as long as we are good. We don't want to offer something that's mediocre. No, we want to be at the best of our game. And what we also do is we share what we have. You know, David Toole rocks up. He's an actor who walks on his hands. I'm not going to go and find him any legs. I've got time. My main thing is, can he act? Thank God he can. And you'll see him doing some of his acting this afternoon. He might be a bit brushing up, but we'll work on that. So, we have actors. Actors who come to us slowly learn to just re-embrace who they are as disabled people, so that they are people. They know exactly who they are, exactly what sort of access support they may need, and they do their homework. That's what they do. So my rehearsal processes are just joy. I suppose all of those of you who are directors, rehearsals are the best thing ever, aren't they? This afternoon I will show some, I don't know how to describe it, you'll just see me fuck up, okay? And we'll do a sort of a Jenny in rehearsal. Please don't judge me. We will, it's fine, but we'll have some fun, I hope. What I want to do very quickly is we've got a very abbreviated form of a bigger piece called Sorry. And it is, well, we'll describe it in a minute, but before we go any further, I just need to make sure that everyone's got a name sign so that I can talk to you all at lunchtime. So my name sign is, can you please put your right palm on your right nipple, left palm on left nipple, rub. Now move your palms, so your palms are facing the heavens. Take them both out a little bit, so your little finger is still parallel to your nipple. Now I want you to carry something very big and bouncy. And that's me, I'm Jenny. For obvious reasons. 34K, so we've got very good parts of today's discussion. So, I just want you to see, some of you have a name sign already. I know my friend now, I met her on Sunday. Flame hair and flame of ideas, that's true. Just want you to think, what's your name sign? And then we'll just do a quick Mexican wave across the room. I'll clock it all, and then at lunchtime I'll get to know you all properly. So, have you got something in your mind's eye? Your signing frame is here. It could be, it's got twinkly eyes, got big long eyelashes, got hair, you're sweet, you've got dimples, you've got a massive smile. It could be whatever. It's about the essence of you. And I'm going to start. So, got something? Because you're all facing this way, I get to see them all, you don't necessarily get to see them all. So again, at that time, it's a debating ground. That was it. Sure.
That'd be mine. Mine, no, mine's that.
Bernard. Job done. Melinda, Ambrose, Kelly, Beatrice. So we're just going to read this very briefly. Richard, I've got a print out for you. This is all based on fact. And I'm not showing it to you for doom and gloom or anything like that. It's just to give you some context. Sometimes some of the things that we as a company are up against. And I know that Frankie, who's over there, she would appreciate that definitely Thursday has some of the same issues. But we'll just do it. Right. So,
Yeah.
where is the page turner? And then that's yours.
Oh, yeah.
Right, John, act properly.
He's Saturday night.
Right, we'll give it a whirl. So, this is called Sorry. I'm Jenny Sealey. I'm deaf with speech. My careers officer told me I could be a librarian because libraries are quiet. However, I'm the artistic director of Graeae. I will play me, and amongst others, I will be representing a Canadian gay blind woman, a black deaf gay man, and various mainly male, white, non-disabled theatre directors.
I'm Amit Shah. I have a mobility impairment. My careers advisor told me I probably wouldn't amount to very much, but I think that was more my attitude than my impairment. However, I am the associate director of Graeae. I'll be playing me, and amongst others, I'll be representing a young deaf Asian woman, a white woman wheelchair user, and various drama school personnel.
I'm John Kelly. I'm a wheelchair user. My careers advisor told me I could possibly work in an office or be a French polisher. However, I'm a freelance artist and I won Best Supporting Actor in Graeae's production of Threeply Opera. And Jude here won Best Supporting Actress for her wonderful theatrical signing. I'll be playing me, and amongst others I'll be representing a hearing general manager of a deaf-led theatre company, an actress with Tourette's, an artistic director who is a mental health survivor, and various audience members who commented on the aforementioned Threeply Opera.
I am Jude. I'm a fully qualified level 6 interpreter. I trained for 7 years. I am very lucky to have a co-worker with me today because at the moment that is not always the case.
The following presentation and examples of our own personal stories and how others have responded to my request to send me any sound bites live as a deaf and disabled artist in the working world, their dealings with access to work and independent living fund, and some of the stories are also from the Scope report.
Access to work is the government's best kept secret. But what it is a fantastic scheme that allows deaf and disabled people to have their access requirements paid for so they can fulfill their role with full equality in the workplace. It funds interpreters, equipment, fares to work and support workers. Now, let's look at the maths. The government's budget for access to work is £108 million. Around 37,000 people use access to work. When deaf and disabled artists are able to work, they're also able to pay their taxes. They receive fewer benefits and generate jobs for sign language interpreters, access support workers, personal assistants, who in turn pay their own taxes. Do you, Jen?
I do.
It's in the script. I'm just reading what the script says. That was meant to be a joke. The DWP estimates that for every £1 that is spent on access to work, £1.48 comes back to the Exchequer. Access to work pays for Jude, Narinda and Becky.
The ILF was the Independent Living Fund, which offered financial support to disabled people so they can live independently. Esther McVeigh announced on December 18, 2012 that the ILF fund would be closed completely from June 2015. All future funding for care and support to current ILF users will be met through their local authority. However, this money wouldn't be ring-fenced, and local authorities are generally having their funding slashed. It means they won't be able to meet the additional costs for a person living independently. Again, let's look at the maths. The current cost of ILF is £320 million a year, and the average cost of an ILF package is £346 a week, a tiny proportion of UK government spending. This also compares very favourably to costs in residential care. As an example, Winterbourne View, famous in the UK for residents being systematically abused, costs an average of £3,500 per week. The user base of ILF is mostly young disabled people, with only 8.7% of ILF users being over 65.
Are you one of the 8.7%?
Fuck off, Jude. Closure of the fund has breached the human rights of disabled people as enshrined in the United Nations Convention for the Rights of People with Disabilities, most notably Article 19, the right to live independent living, Article 28, the right to an adequate standard of living and protection.
Are you ready?
I think I said my bit, and on that note, I could actually do with a wee.
You're not scheduled for your next week until 1:35 p.m.
Dear Miss Sealey, I'm sorry that your claim 35 hours a week for access to work is being turned down. We will award you 72 hours a month. And we've just succeeded. It's been a 4-year battle to get this overturned.
Dear Mr. Sharma, I'm sorry your claim for access to work is being turned down. Can't you get your friend to help you out?
Dear Miss Partridge, I'm sorry. Your ALF will be cut.
Well, I'm doing the phone, let me just do it accent. Access work, I'm calling regarding access support for a colleague who has a different voice pattern. Yes, yes, I'll hold.
Hello? Access to work? I'm calling about BSL provision for some of our deaf actors.
What is BSL?
Hello, Access to Work. I'm calling on behalf of my deaf artistic director regarding her access to work. She runs our deaf-led theatre company.
Who are you phoning for?
Well, my deaf artistic director, who is a grassroots BSL user and doesn't use the phone, she's asked me to make inquiries on her behalf.
Why don't you just work with hearing people who sign?
So, hello, Access to Work. I'm calling as requested because you asked me there was an issue with hands-free headset.
Yeah, I just wanted to find out why you needed a headset. It's not clear.
Okay, so I use my interpreter to make phone calls. They're struggling to sign because they need both of their hands, and we've got one hand holding the receiver and the other one with the shoulder, so...
Right. I still don't understand why they need a headset.
Okay, so you know how sign language works? The interpreters need their hands to sign.
Yes.
So if one of your hands is being used to hold a receiver, then...
Yeah, but why do they need the headset? Where does the headset come into play?
Jude, our Jude here, brilliant sign language interpreter who worked with us a lot. Her first job was as my sign language rehearsal interpreter on our production of Bend. So by day she was with us and by night she was out on various dates. She told one date all about doing Bend and how Graeae added a new layer with deaf and disabled people who also suffered under Hitler. His response was,
I don't mean to be rude, but don't you think Hitler had a point? You didn't come to drama school when you were cured.
I thought all those disabled people busking in the foyer at the start of the show were just trying to raise some money for themselves. I didn't think they'd actually be in the show.
Jenny darling, you must see that people do not come to the theatre to be reminded of the tragedy of being handicapped.
Dear Mrs. G, we're sorry, but we will be changing your lip speaking requirements from 23 hours a week to 23 hours a year.
IMA. I can no longer attend any meetings when various government and NGOs ask me to be part of their various consultation plans. The end of ILF means I now have no social life and no longer volunteer at a primary school to assist children to do drama and reading.
Dear Miss C, we suggest you get the cheapest indirect flight, which unfortunately does have 3 changes, but is cheaper than the direct flight. You're able to transfer from your wheelchair, so we do not envisage this will be a problem.
Dear Mr. E, I appreciate that you need an accessible room with space for your hoist and that accessible accommodation is more expensive. We therefore suggest either you share with your PA your room or they stay at a cheaper hotel.
A director auditioned a deaf actor for a deaf character whose first language was BSL. Lovely audition. Can your interpreter act too? The interpreter got the job.
Is that you, Jude?
Fuck off, John.
You don't look blind. Oh, shall I put on a crappy Mac, get some dark glasses and a white stick and take my makeup off? Oh, please, would you?
I think you should get proper directors in at Graeae. It'll raise the profile. Oh, Jen, I bet that hurt.
That's it. my darling Sophie, who was really hurt by one particular review of peeling. The reviewer said, a magnificent head on a deformed body.
What's his disability? Oh, okay, that's good. I just needed to make sure he wasn't deaf.
Hello, RNIB, Royal National Institute for Blind. My guide dog has managed to detach his cone he was wearing as a result of an ear operation. He's been scratching his wound, and I think there's blood everywhere. I don't know what to do. Sorry? Sorry, what did you say? There's a phone number on his collar. How do you expect me to read it? I am blind.
Hello. What did Access to Work say to a wheelchair user going for a job interview? How would your life have been if you had not been this disabled?
Hello. What did Access to Work say to a wheelchair user who was a trainee? Give us some examples of how having this disability compared to your peers who are not disabled at all.
Hello. What did Access to Work say to a deaf theatre practitioner working with Graeae or an R&D project? Well, you're deaf, not disabled, and you can read and write, after all, so you can write to each other.
Until now, Access to Work have always been quick and efficient. Their support enabled me to keep working when my tics first intensified and when my mobility and independence suddenly deteriorated 3 years ago. But the results of the Access to Work massive lack of communication and stupid systems, 2 non-profit organisations have been left carrying all the cost of my support, now running into thousands of pounds. I've been left terrified by the financial burden this is placed on them and what it means for their cash flow while they continue to pay my support workers. I am spending hours of work and spare time trying to resolve this situation. When the £40,000 cap on Access to Work comes in, I'll be buggered. So will you, Jen. You and me, both down to work 3 days a week and having to sense what we do artistically and meeting-wise.
Did you know that a surgeon told a man who had heart surgery that he needed to stop working on medical grounds? Later, that man had to go in front of a panel to be means tested for work. He was asked why he did not work, and he said, pointing to the very same surgeon, "You told me I could no longer work."
Did you know that a panel asked a nurse who had to stop work because she started losing her sight if she could catch a bus unaided? She replied yes, and was declared fit for work. They took away all her benefits. She took her own life.
Did you know that an actor who had her foot amputated had to go back to the panel every 3 months to check she was still disabled?
What, do they think the foot will go back?
Dear Jenny, I just found out that my Access to Work application was turned down due to the fact that I only pay Class 2 National Insurance contributions. Freelance artists generally earn less than 20k a year, and most of us pay NI Class 2. And this is not a criteria to stop Access to Work.
Dear Ginny, I just found out that my Access to Work application was turned down due to the fact that I only pay Class 2 NI contribution.
Dear Jenny, I've just found out that my Access to Work application is turned down due to the fact I only pay Class 2 NI contributions. This is an ongoing cry from deaf actors and we are trying to fight this.
I am M. I've seen what my care package would look like without the ILF contribution. Per day, I would receive support for a carer to sleep over, then 1 hour support for lunch, 1 hour for tea. Per week would be added 7 hours for social activities, 90 minutes for shopping, 45 minutes for housework, 20 minutes ironing, 2 support slots of 15 minutes each for showering. With nothing but a local authority care package, I'll be sitting in my wheelchair from 7:45 in the morning until 10:30 at night, with only 2 breaks, at lunchtime and at tea time. Without support to go to the toilet between visits from a care assistant, I'd be wet. So when the care assistant did come for the hour lunchtime and tea time, that time would be needed to clean me, to clean me up. I would also get a sandwich, a hot drink, and be toileted. At tea time, instead of a sandwich, I would get a warmed up meal, which would have to be microwave meal because no time would be allowed for my support package for cooking. By the time the night staff came on at 10, I'd be wet again and need to be washed and changed, as well as being given a hot drink and put to bed at 10:30. Being left wet for so many hours, every day, would lead to open pressure sores, which would need to be treated by a nurse on a regular basis. My day would be nothing more than me sitting in a wet pad, just being fed and watered, no freedom to do anything I wish. My home will be my prison.
Dear Miss H, now that you've had a cochlear implant, why do you need an interpreter?
Dear Mr. E, you typed this email by yourself, without an interpreter. Well, your English is clearly clear enough that you don't need an interpreter for your work.
Dear Mr. Joe, you weren't available when I phoned before, and your manager told me you only went to one team meeting a week, so your interpreter support is cut from 30 hours a week to 3 hours per week.
Dear Miss M, well, we don't agree that you deserve access support because you may well have a brain injury and mental health issues, but you are fully aware of this.
I really need a wee.
It's only 26 more minutes till your PA comes, John.
Get along with it, come on.
As change manager, if you sacked your deaf employee, then the interpreter could do the job just as well, couldn't they?
Don't go there, John.
There are not enough plays which have disabled characters, so there seems little point training disabled people because there will be not enough parts for them in the world of work.
If I had known there were disabled people in the Threepenny Opera, I wouldn't have come to see it.
Dear Jenny, you are only allowed to use 2 interpreters in exceptional circumstances.
We only provide level 6 interpreters to scientists. Your work is not jargon based.
Hang on. This is a typical meeting with Jen.
Okay. Very good. The DCMS is just one of a number of discrete government departments that implement policy relevant to the ecosystem as a whole, distribute public funding and commission work and research. BIS, DFE, DCLGA, DOH also have a stake in the ecosystem. Beneath government departments, there is another layer of intermediaries and arm-linked bodies with a stake in the CCI, which are in themselves siloed and intended to have different subsectors of the CCI. These include BFI, ACA,
Slow
HLM...
down!
Oh,
I
sorry.
think you've got the call.
Yeah.
Audience need to know that normal people are playing disabled characters. You must see that that makes it more palatable.
Lorca did not write Blood Wedding for you people to be in it.
Don't you have your own theatre to go to?
November 2012. Jenny, congratulations on the Paralympic opening ceremony. Please can you recommend disabled artists from your professional and volunteer cast to be in our amazing Channel 4 programme, The Undateables?
Jen, I mean, we've done this quite a few times. You keep using that same example. Fine. We get it. We YouTube that comment. Let's have some gems from the last few months.
After being at Act for Change, someone working at a big drama school said to his team, disabled artists are the next big thing.
A producer said to me last week, Graeae, I need to grow up and stop broadcasting the fact when the 40k cap comes in that you might have to go down for 3 days a week. Graeae, I need to have the budget to cover this cost.
An agent said, oh, you don't look very disabled. Can you make your voice sound more disabled, more thick? You know what I mean? Otherwise, there's no point us having you on our books.
A director said, mate, with that hand, you've been given a golden ticket. You'll get funding like that.
A producer said to me, I think you shouldn't mention anything to do with disabled actors in your publicity.
A York Theatre Royal said to me, a wheelchair user, associate director, helping with selling programmes, oh, it's so nice that they employ people like you.
Dear FB, a sad day for me as the CEO of a major disability arts organisation, having to go to the bank and close my ILF account. Cashier said, what's the ILF?
Dear FB, just clarifying you all understand that this ILF thing is ongoing. Yeah, I have successfully managed to cross from ILF to local authority covering payments, but that is only till March 2016. Not quite sure if a trip to Lord's will do the trick between now and then.
Dear Facebook, I'm an up-and-coming director, or maybe I need to rethink my career. This is the final week of my independent living fund, and I lose the majority of my daytime care and 3 of the best support workers I've ever had. 1 I've had since university. This is a worry and a tragedy that impact on her work of job security, their families, and those reliant on such funds to be able to exist as extraordinary members of society. let alone fight. Hackney paid £14. £14. Oh, come on. I'm meeting with my local Labour MP mid-October to discuss this. I'm going to fight this shit for the 18,000 of us. Hello, yes, I'm still here. Yes, this is a request for someone with a different voice pattern. You need to put me through to someone else? Yes, I will hold.
Dear Jenny, in response to your request for access to work sound bites, don't get me started. I want to kill, and I'm very happy to do the time.
That is our little play.